And your podcast, oh my gosh, I've been listening to the episodes and I'm like, these are my people.
That's awesome.
I'm a huge Harry Potter fan. So you know how the wand chooses the wizard? I say that like the framework chooses the funnel. So the framework that you're teaching is going to choose your funnel.
So we have our email marketing, our funnel automation softwares, and product delivery hosting service. I know what I'm talking about because I saw your stuff.
Somebody's been watching. 3, 2, 1.
Hey creators, it's your hosts, Natalie and Yasmin, and you're listening to the Course Creation Podcast. We'll talk business, building digital empires, and how to create passive income to start living a life you love. We are here to empower those of you who are thinking of starting your own course and to support those who are already well on their way to success. We've built a 7-figure media agency on unique storytelling, and now we're here to share our story in the course creation world, and more importantly, to hear yours. We are committed to creating a space for learning and a space for diversity and inclusion. Now let's get the show started. 3, 2, 1, action. Hello everyone and welcome. I'm Yasmin from CourseCreation.com. I am joined by my partner in crime, Natalie, and our lovely guest, Ayesha Ahmad. Ayesha is the founder of Behind the Niqab. Ayesha helps business coaches and course creators build and maintain their passive income streams by providing content creation, email and social media management services. She is a super knowledgeable and tech-savvy lady in her area of expertise, which is building sales funnels that convert. We are so excited to have you on the show with us today, Ayesha. Welcome.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Woohoo! We're really excited to have you because, like I said before we started recording, funnels are such a mystery, and it seems like it's such a easy concept. It's just a funnel, but it's not. Anyways, before we really jump in, let's take it back. Can you tell us about who you are, where you got started, and how you got here?
For sure. Once upon a time, or actually no, let's start with this. It all started with a Facebook ad. One day, 2 years ago, 2018, or actually end of 2017, I was just, scrolling through my Facebook feed, and I was almost done high school actually at that time. And I just, there's that concept of what's going to happen once you enter the real world, right? Like I have been accepted into college. I'm going to be starting college, but working the 9 to 5, that was something that I just couldn't comprehend myself doing. I just gotten married. So I'd always, I was in Google searching ways to make money. Classic. And Facebook and Google, of course, they pick up on that. And as soon as I'm searching up these questions, I'm scrolling through my Facebook, I start getting a lot of people that are selling courses about either blogging or selling digital products. And I was very curious because this was a dimension that I'd never entered before. I was tech savvy because my dad is in IT, and it was a lot of hardware stuff, not as much software stuff, but I knew my way around things. And coming from a South Asian background, it was always about putting the best pieces of everything together to make a lifestyle that you can live, especially because I come from an immigrant family. I grew up seeing my mom, she's like a side hustler, but not in the way that we know it. She would be, making sweets, making rotis or bread from home, or selling clothes. And she would always do that because she wanted to live a lifestyle that she really envisioned for herself. And that was so inspirational to me. So going through all of these Facebook ads, I, put my investments in a bunch of different courses, coaches. I looked into different things such as like blogging. And then when you look into blogging, it's like, okay, how do you grow a blog? Oh, Pinterest. Okay, why do you need Pinterest? Oh, because you need to grow a list. Oh, why do you need a list? Because you need to sell digital products. So it's the step-by-step that everybody was doing. And the common thread that tied it all together was that everybody was making money because they were teaching something. They were creating a transformation in someone's lives. And then eventually I just started to learn all of these little bits and pieces, and I fell into the virtual assistant world where there's people that already have, services and businesses, and they just want the layman to help them out and, put things together. So I thought that, what, I actually love doing this stuff, and I've learned so much already throughout my journey that why don't I just hop in and try to help somebody else out? And I worked with a whole bunch of different coaches, someone who was teaching photography, somebody who would teach art, like different industries, but they all needed help with their email marketing. Even though I was offering a whole bunch of things as a general virtual assistant, I always ended up either writing someone's emails or setting up their funnel or helping them put together their course and migrating it to another tech platform. And it just reminded me that everybody at the end is teaching something and is selling something digitally, because that is the way to scale and make passive products. So that is basically how I started out. I started out as a virtual assistant, and then I decided to niche down because otherwise I was in this constant phase of reaching out to clients and being like, hey, do you need help with this? But literally the day that I went and changed my Instagram bio to sales funnels, after that, I never had to reach out again. People were coming and finding me and sliding into my DMs. So guys, power of niching, like believe it. And that is how I got into sales funnels, because I realized that I'd worked with all of these platforms and I had done pretty much everything A to Z for a sales funnel, not for myself and not really for anyone completely, but I'd done all the different pieces and I knew how to put them together. And it was mind blowing that somebody would actually need help with that. And people did. So I originally started out with doing one-on-one full funnel build outs for people, or just writing their emails, different tiered packages, I'm sure you know. And then now I'm super excited to be launching my own group coaching where I help people, skip all of the crazy steps that I did and just know that they have to create a digital product to scale whatever one-on-one business that they have going on, and learn how to create it, market it, launch it, and scale it with a funnel.
Wow. Like, so amazing. So amazing.
So many questions.
So many questions.
I'm sorry. I just went off.
No, I love it.
Great.
So just before we dive in, how long ago did your journey start? So how long have you been in this world?
In the world, so end of 2017. That's when I started learning and really investing into growing myself and growing my business. And then it was step by step. 2018, or actually 2019. No, technically 2018, I started doing virtual assistant services. 2019, I niched down. And then 2020, here we are with group coaching.
And with the sales funnel, because now that's your jam, that's your area of expertise. You've helped so many different people, and you discovered that from, working with different people as a virtual assistant. But would you say that you were a self-taught person, like in this realm? Like you hacked things, you tested things out, and you learned as you went along? Or did you also get some coaching in this area?
It was both. So actually now I'm super into the whole aspect that you have to invest to grow, because 2017, 2018, and half of 2019, I was just doing, teaching myself and marketing myself. And I can honestly say that there was no consistent income coming from that. But as soon as I invested in a coach and got it's a lot of community accountability, a lot of growth. I'm not sure what magic there is behind coaching, but I'm like a diehard fan now. And now I'm like, take my money, just take it, because I know you're going to help me grow. So in 2019, when I invested in my first VA coach, she helped me grow to get consistent retainer clients. And I went from charging $15 an hour to having full on 4-figure packages that people were I would get on a call and they'd say yes. And I'd be like, what is this? Before I'm on calls with people that are telling me that, oh no, can you do it for cheaper? But it's a whole mindset shift. It's a whole, you start seeing yourself as an authority because you know that you invested in it. Maybe it's the school system that's made us think this way, that, once you have a degree or a certification or something that you went through an institution to learn, that's why you're an expert. But it's not necessarily that. So definitely, yes, I did invest in first a VA coach, and then recently graduated out of a sales coaching program as well.
We haven't really touched up on sales funnels with anyone. And you are the sales funnel expert. You are the queen. For anyone who is starting an online course, let's say we've got our idea, we've honed in, we know our niche. Where do we start? At what point do we start selling? Do we start selling before we even create our course? Or do we start selling once we have everything on the timeline?
So honestly, I know people that have done both. I'm a huge proponent that if it's your first time creating a course, then sell it before you actually create it. Because the people that I work with, if they worked one-on-one before, or if they have results for themselves, as long as you have some sort of results and you know you can provide a transformation, then that's all you need to really market and sell it. Because people are looking for a transformation. They don't care that, necessarily if you got somebody a certain number of like financial results or something, but as long as they know that you're the person that can get it done, that's all people care about. On the other hand, there's also people that either had a coaching program and then they have their recordings and things like that, so they already have the content for it and they already have specific results for that program that just helps market it as a course then passively. So it can honestly just go both ways. And this is funny because I'm a huge Harry Potter fan. So you know how the wand chooses the wizard?
Yes.
I say that like the framework chooses the funnel. So the framework that you're teaching is going to choose your funnel, whether you're launching it with a webinar or a challenge or just an ebook. That's entirely up to the framework that you're teaching, the transformation that you're providing, which will truly help create your customer journey and then lead that person through to your course. So however, like whatever the material is, if you have it, if you don't have it, it's all about the results and the transformation that you're providing through that framework and how best to deliver that.
Amazing. So let's talk about the customer journey really quick. So in your eyes, what is the perfect customer journey in the perfect sales funnel?
Oh my God, what a question. Okay, so the perfect sales funnel. Okay. The perfect sales funnel is the one that draws a straight line from you to the cash. Like, honestly, the more complicated it is, the more conversions you have to worry about, the more people you have to understand that they're going to be falling off halfway somewhere.
Okay, let's back up a second. For those of us who are just getting in, I know on a high level what a sales funnel is, but can you explain it to those of us listening who don't know what it is?
Okay, so a sales funnel is, oh my goodness, the techie version or the non-techie version. This is what I have to go with. So a sales funnel is basically the journey that you're taking your customer through to get from a lead to a sale. That is what it is in like the most simplest terms. Now this can look like somebody seeing your content, sliding in your DMs, and then getting on a call with you and paying their invoice. That in itself is also a funnel. It could look like someone seeing your ad, getting on your list by downloading a freebie, getting nurtured through emails, and then buying your product at the end of it. Now that is a passive sales funnel, and that is what I love to help build because that's like the least amount of work after, you originally set it up. So those are kind of like the two different funnels, the non-techie version and the techie version. And they're both perfect because they do the three core things that a funnel needs to do. A funnel needs to capture your lead, it needs to nurture them, and it needs to get you a sale because it's called a sales funnel. So it needs to make a sale. Those are the three parts of a funnel. And what each of those three parts looks like is again dependent on your framework and your product.
So wait, if I just put my course up there, it's not just gonna sell like that?
I don't think so.
No. I mean,
think
we'd
that's
all
the dream.
hope, right? We'd all hope. But that's truly where, I get that question actually. And it sounds, no question is a dumb question, but like you have to wonder because people will be like, you're teaching passive income. This is not passive if I have to do work. And it's like, yes, the passive part is the delivery of the product. The passive part is the nurturing. You can also, it might not even be that because you might want to nurture someone personally. And the passive part could also be the part where it captures leads. But you have to be, either you outsource everything, then it's truly passive. You have nothing to do with it. But that's if you're already successful. For a person who's creating the course for the first time, and isn't a multi-million-dollar person, then, you might have to do a little bit of work.
But it's different kind of work, right? Sorry to interrupt you, Yasmin, but because it's not like you're always exchanging service for cash. You're setting up a funnel, like you said, that will become passive eventually, right?
You're no longer exchanging time for money. This was like Oh, I hated this as a service provider. Like, but when I was a virtual assistant, I had like hourly retainers, and that was the worst thing. Literally calculating, turning on your timer every time you sit down to work. I did not want to do that anymore, and digital products is where it's at because it's already packaged. And there is this mindset that people have that they can't charge a lot for a digital product because they're not putting in the same amount of work that they would on a one-on-one level. But it's not about how much you're putting it in. It's not about you. It's about the person who's buying from you, who's getting a transformation from you. Whether that transformation comes passively or you working your butt off, it's a transformation. And which one would you prefer?
Yeah, I love when you say that. It's all about creating some sort of transformation. We always talk about the value that we're bringing to the table, but when you have again that mind shift of you're transforming something, like you are creating some change for someone, you're providing that value that impacts them in a positive way, it makes it so awesome to be doing what we're doing every single day. I mean, I loved
Yes.
doing my job and I still love owning the agency and the work that I do, but this is like a whole other way of creating transformation for your audience and your people.
Exactly. You owe it to them to provide as much value as you can, as much as you can. So, like it's holding yourself back to just tie yourself to I can only take on 5 one-on-one clients in a month when like you could be helping thousands. So like you owe it to people. They need it from you.
Exactly. And Ayesha, so the sales funnel side of things is super overwhelming. And I feel like it's something that's a bit of an oversight until people get deep into their course creation, their content creation, and they're like, oh, beep, like I need to get this out and I have no idea where to start. And I know you've recently launched a course, or you're launching a course right now called Stupid Simple Sales Funnels. And I love that name because that's exactly what Natalie and I need, and everybody else out there who is a course creator and wants to get their course out in the world needs. So at what point should someone start thinking about this in the process of building their course? And like, where do we start?
Ooh, okay. So I kind of take like a backwards approach to funnels where you come up with your idea of your product. You know that you want to create a course. You may not necessarily create the content for it right away, because what happens is you don't want to spend all the time creating the content and then nobody buys, and then it's like, it's a better use for your time to do it the other way around. So basically how Stupid Simple Sales Funnels works is, you know what, now I'm going to have to like open this up because I need to like do the proper run through. We create the customer journey and the product suite. So knowing what you're selling, because that's going to build the foundation for everything, all of the other work that you're going to do. Because if you're selling a course, that's going to help you pick the platform that you're selling it on. Because you're not going to be investing in Kartra to sell an ebook, right? That's what I mean when I say the framework chooses the funnel. Essentially, you come up with your framework because that framework is what you can use to market. If you have a framework, you don't necessarily have to create all of the content right away, because at least you know the end result and the steps that the person is going to take to get there. So if anybody asks you about, what's your course going to get for me, then at least you have this framework, and you can also prep that person to work with you through, a challenge, for example. Because if somebody, for example, if a course is about, creating funnels, and and the first step that somebody needs to go through to even be ready to create a funnel is that they probably need to know what a funnel is. So if you have a resource that's helping them know what a funnel is, then boom, that gets them ready to automatically enter your course. So it helps create an entry point, knowing your framework. And then you can actually create hype for it and launch it because you already have the framework and the copy. So I find that knowing your results, knowing the transformation that you're going to provide, having some previous results if you do for yourself or somebody else, that all helps in marketing it, whether you're using paid ads or not. So always, market it and have that in place. And a suggestion is having the first module recorded, at least. So people, even if you don't have the rest of the content created, while you're marketing and launching it, as soon as you open cart, if people buy right away, then you're like, yes, now I can make the rest of the content. But at the same time, they already have something waiting for them, some prep work, whether it's, adding their Q&A calls to their calendar, or it's just learning more about you, or it's doing some inner mindset work, whatever it may be. Have some prep work ready so that, you know, you're not leaving anybody high and dry, and you're giving some value right away because they have invested in you already. And then, so when it comes to the tech part of a funnel, there has to be, again, like I mentioned, the 3 parts. So something that captures your leads. For funnels, they're all about like an email list. I know some people might want to just have like an organic funnel, but if we're talking about an actual sales funnel that uses an email list, you have to have your lead capture, which gets people's emails, whether that's, you know, an entry point into your Facebook group or your challenge or your webinar, or even just having that pop up on your website where they want to get on your list, and then nurturing them. So you can nurture them, you know, on your audience, or market on your Instagram, market on Facebook, market via ads, or market in your emails for sure, because you already have that list and you're actually nurturing them, because those are the people that are going to buy from you. They already trust you. You've given them the kind of preparation to be ready to buy your course from you. And then obviously is the sales. So having a sales page, it can be super non-techy. I mean, if you have PayPal, like you can literally create a checkout button and embed it into an email of all things, right? There's programs like Jotforms where you can just, again, create a simple checkout thing. It's not the fanciest, so it's up to you how fancy schmancy you want to be, or how simple you want it to like be, how simple you want your funnel to be. And people think that it's not as professional if you start off with just, you know, a simple, very, very simple funnel of just having lead magnet, few emails, and like a checkout page, not even like a whole fancy sales page with testimonials and module breakdowns and all of that. You honestly don't need all of that, because to start off, you want your original people who are going to take your course for the first time or buy your digital product for the first time to get that value. And they're going to get that value regardless of whether you had a fancy sales page or not. And at the end of it, you can always follow up and get those amazing testimonials. And once you've got the money, then invest it into somebody, or invest it into an extra amazing techie platform that's going to look so amazing. But at the end of the day, keep it simple. Have your 3 core elements before you even get into the course creation part of it. So to summarize, have your framework, market it, and then get your 3 core parts of a funnel together.
Yeah,
Okay.
so much great information there. Thank you for that really nice and concise breakdown, because it really painted a picture of everything that we need to know. And I guess the next step is obviously the tech, the programs, the automation, everything that's out there. So I want to chat a little bit about the different types of platforms that you would recommend for each step. So we have our email marketing, our funnel automation softwares, and product delivery hosting service. I know what I'm talking about because I saw your stuff.
Somebody's been watching Instagram stories. Okay, I love that. Thank you. Okay, so when it comes to it, there's a lot of factors that depend. It depends on your budget, it depends on your audience size, and it depends on what product that you're selling. So first of all, your email marketing. You can go with free platforms. Generally, most platforms, actually not most, but some platforms, they have a free version and paid version as well. Always do the free version first, unless you already have like a huge list and they don't allow you to. Take the free version first, play around. Free trials, they can be your best friend, unless you're part of Stupid Simple Sales Funnels, where, you know, I break it down for you and help you decide. But otherwise, join free trials. See, you know, there's ConvertKit, there's MailChimp, there's MailerLite. Personally, to start off, I like MailerLite because it has all the functionalities of ConvertKit with tagging and segmentation, and it's free up to 1,000 subscribers. So MailerLite is amazing, and their customer service is so helpful. They're really amazing, and it's a very nice interface, very clean, drag and drop features for landing pages, thank you pages, for your even visual automations, and even for setting up like when you're writing the email, it's also all drag and drop. So MailerLite was great. I tried MailChimp, didn't like it much. ConvertKit only allows you to have like one list and is supremely all into tagging. So there's that also. It can be very overwhelming. But then there's also platforms that have that internally. So we'll get into that when we get into the product delivery. So for email marketing, if you're starting off, MailerLite is great right now. People also recommend Flowdesk because it looks pretty, but it is paid. You can have a free trial, but like it's paid. And then we get into the funnel automation. So this is, MailerLite also does this because you can have your lead magnet on there with your landing page and have like an email sequence that delivers the freebie and then nurtures them. And then you can even connect it to a page and have like a PayPal button embedded. But it's not like, again, you have to be kind of techie to do some integrations and embedding and things like that, unless you just want to go simple and just at the end have a checkout page that you've created on your website or on PayPal directly and then just direct somebody there. So for funnel automation, that's really good. There's also like ClickFunnels and lead pages and stuff, which I don't understand why they're so crazy expensive. I think when you're choosing a platform, be wise about the kind of integrations that you're going to need, because especially that's why I say the framework chooses the funnel, because if you need, for example, webinar software, then you want to find a platform that's going to be integrated with a webinar software. So I'm not sure if I don't think MailerLite has an in software like webinar thing where you can have a webinar on your landing page. You might have to actually record a video and then just upload it. It won't work the same way as like Webinar Gem or Webinar Ninja, things like that. So your funnel automation software, it doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't have to be expensive, but anything that can actually just, deliver a freebie, send some emails, and have a sales page. If it has a sales page, great. If it doesn't, then you're going to have to do a little bit of a workaround. And then it comes to the product delivery. So this is something that's going to be directly in sync with your payment platform. So also be aware of that, because like if you only want to deal with PayPal, then I think like Teachable, you can't do that. You can't do that with like Kartra or Kajabi. You need to have like a Stripe account. So it will only take like credit card payments. So if your audience is somebody that is mainly going to be using PayPal, then that might not be a platform for you to be investing in. And product delivery is essentially just, it could be like something simple. I know there's a lot of like plugins if you're using Squarespace or WordPress that you can go into e-commerce solutions and use that. I feel like I'm getting really techie, guys. You're just staring at me.
No,
like...
this is so great. And
Okay.
You know what? I'm just going to chime in for a quick minute here.
Go
and
ahead.
What I love about everything that you're saying and what I'm gathering is it's so important to understand your roadmap and what you're going to need for the course. And it's almost like there's obviously lots of solutions, and we can test and we can get these free subscriptions day and night for as long as we want. But the truth is we need to understand what we actually need and almost put together like a pros and cons list, because there's pros and cons to each one.
There is, exactly. And knowing also your ideal client, because if it's somebody who prefers something like fancy looking, then it might be worthwhile for you to invest in a higher price platform. Or if it's somebody who doesn't actually care and just wants to get through it, then you don't have to, put all of your money into like investing into higher price platforms. But then also, like I mentioned with the PayPal versus credit card thing, if you have a product that you want to sell and your customers usually use PayPal, then especially if you're setting up an ad and you're targeting people who use PayPal, but then your checkout page doesn't even have a PayPal button, like that's just, no way. So understanding your ideal customer and understanding your product and what it needs. So yeah, that's a great point that you mentioned, Yasmin. Like that's essentially like your product, whatever works best with your product is what you need to decide. For courses though, I know there's the top two right now, Kajabi and Kartra. They are amazing and they're an all-in-one. So they have your email marketing in there. They have your sales page. So Kartra is way better for funnels. Kajabi is great for course and memberships. If that's pretty much like all you're going to be doing, you just want a place for hosting all of your stuff. But for Kartra, if you want to be super advanced and have like extra segmentation and tagging, that if somebody bought this but didn't buy this and you want to sell them this and all of that, right? You want to be like a little bit more fancy about it. Kartra is amazing for that. And Kartra is actually cheaper. So I'd probably recommend that. I know Kajabi has like other features and Kartra has other features, but again, do your research and choose, but don't overwhelm yourself by taking in all of the options. Usually if there's something that's like super popular and mainstream, there's a reason for it, probably because of its functionality and probably because of the features that it offers. So if we're just summarizing it up, For email marketing, I like to recommend MailerLite to start off with. And I know a lot of people use like ActiveCampaign if they're like super big and need a lot of email marketing features. And then for your funnel automation, it could be something that's already tied in with your email marketing or something that's already tied in with your product delivery. I wouldn't recommend a separate entire funnel automation piece because that's just an extra platform you have to integrate. And then product delivery, the top two that I recommend, Kartra and Kajabi, that's also what I use to help build out funnels for people in my one-on-one packages as well.
Beautiful. Awesome. That really summed it up. Thank you so much for that. I want to go back a little bit to nurturing your audience because I think for me, like I think I can get around the tech eventually. Like I think I can get my head around that eventually. But the part that's just still super escaping me is like the market it, you know?
The
like
marketing.
Okay, yeah, because it's like, okay, I get it. I have a product. I know people will want it, but I have no community. So what am I doing for marketing? Like I know lead magnet. Okay, am I advertising my lead magnet, or am I just getting on my social and like hashtagging a lot? Like, what am I doing?
So that is up to you. If you're in a place where you want to invest in ads, then you definitely can. But when it comes to ads, creating a lookalike audience is where you're going to get the most conversions. So for people who don't know what a lookalike audience is an audience that is already engaged with you, whether they are on your email list, they visit your website, or they follow you on social media and engage with your content. And when you're creating an ad, you can actually have an ad that caters to that lookalike audience and is going to be posted for them or people like them. And that's going to create more conversions for you instead of just pitching directly to a cold audience entirely. I know there's people who will teach how to reach just a cold audience, but it's so much. You already have people. If you already have a community, no matter how small it is, like use that community and nurture that community. And also when it comes to marketing, people are really good with organic marketing as well. So if you already have an audience, like ask them what they need and prime them. So any launch has that like build up phase. And that's when you're providing free value. You're showing, you're building authority, you're showing yourself as the expert, and you're teasing your content, letting them know something is coming, because anytime that they think of, for example, course creation or video content marketing, they're going to be like, oh wait, NYB is coming out with something. I know they are. And they'll be asking more questions, which is going to in the future help you curate your content better as well. So in that build-up phase, teasing is very important, providing value is very important, and then actually engaging with your audience is very important. So like you mentioned, Natalie, like engaging with hashtags, yes, you can do that, or you can just respond in DMs. It's your community. How you usually communicate with them is amazing. Like how you guys have a podcast going on. Podcasts are great because they're like passive lead generators already. They're great for authority building. So when it comes to nurturing your audience, you can have that. If you have a passive funnel going on, I do have Conversions AF, which is my nurture sequence. And I can break that down and talk more about that if you guys would like.
Yes.
I want to hear all about it.
Okay, so
Conversions AF, let's go.
Yeah, let's go. Conversions AF is great because it's for an audience that is already warm. And it's called Conversions AF not just because of the AF factor, but because I actually do like A, B, C, D, E, F, like in the breakdown.
Got it.
So you're, first of all, in the Conversions AF, whether this is on social media posts or in emails, I think it can honestly apply to both. You're building your know, like, and trust factor. So you're delivering your freebie, you're introducing yourself, placing yourself as an authority, and then you're sharing personal stories. So stories sell. Like facts can tell, but stories will sell. I was reading this the other day, guys. It's not from me. I'm not that brilliant.
I like it.
Tell stories. Love it.
Yeah, stories sell because stories show an actual transformation. You can say that video marketing is going to, create your conversions from 5% to 99%. Okay, great. But like if you tell a story of like somebody whose life changed completely, their business changed completely because they got video marketing into their business, like bam, that is going to actually sell your program for you. So sharing case studies, giving quick wins. So this is also another way to build trust. You give a quick win, and this is why the framework is really important, because within your framework, you probably have different things that people can apply right away to get those quick wins. And that's going to help them trust you even more because they know that your framework is going to help them with the eventual long-term wins and like they're reaching their goals. And it's directly tied into your paid product. So if you're providing free value from your framework for free, then they know that your paid version is going to be way better. And then you're creating desire. So creating desire, this is like where the psychology part comes in. So I'm a social work student. I study psychology. I'm all about knowing what helps people tick and what makes them buy, all of that sales psychology. So things like, like creating FOMO with, you're talking about your offer, you're writing your copy in a way that's going to invite somebody to a transformation, that's going to change their mindset. That's what you have to do when you're creating desire. It's not all about like, hey, you want to make passive income. You want to make passive income. I mean, that's being thrown at them left, right, and center from every like marketing guru out there. But if you're showing them a mindset that, you know what, even if you don't have a big audience, you can make passive income, then it's like you're changing their mindset. They're like, wow, can I? And you're going to be helping them do that with a quick win or a quick tip for them to be able to do that, to see the power that your actual information and your course holds, because like you already created a transformation for them and it didn't take anything out of, you're not going to like, there's always this fear that you're going to be providing too much free value and giving away all of your best information for free. But when you're changing people's mindset, then that's not even like educational value that you're giving away. You're creating a transformation without even giving your best content, right? And then we're demolishing objections. So this is where people, they love you, yeah, but like they're still kind of held back. They don't want to invest. Either they don't have the money, they don't have the time. I mean, they think they don't have the money. They think they don't have the time. They think they're not like ready for your program. So you're proving to them that yes, they can invest right now. What's going to happen if they don't? You're talking to them about all the different frequently asked questions that you get for how much access they're going to get to you. Refund policies, like things like that. You do have to get into the nitty gritty of it, right? What kind of results can they expect? Like all of these different, you're demolishing all of their objections, you're answering their questions. And this is why actually communicating with your audience is important, because you won't know what objections they have if you don't ask, right? Especially if you've pitched your course to someone and they're like, sorry, I'm not ready for it yet. Instead of taking that as like a personal attack and being like, okay, block, that was too shameful, you invite them to a conversation. Like, okay, that's fine. I'm not gonna, pitch to you again or force you to buy, but like, what's going on? What's holding you back? That's very, very important, because it's honestly, there's probably 10 other people like that same person out there. And if you can address it in a way that gets those 10 people to be like, you know what? No, I think this person is right for me, then bam, 10 people right there. And you're building loyalty, right? And you're showing up as your personal self. You're showing up as your personal brand. And I know a lot of people are kind of like, what if I don't want my brand to be connected with me and I just want it to be separate and I can just sell a course without ever showing up or ever talking about myself? Then honestly, nowadays, people buy from people, and
Don't
even
do it.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Even these biggest brands out there, people want to know who the faces behind those brands are, because they want to know who they're supporting, what those person's values are. And that's why, people, there's like that whole cancel culture thing. Okay, I feel like I'm like going off on a tangent now.
No,
it's amazing. There's so much that you addressed. And I feel like we can maybe do a quick little summary about that too. But basically the couple of things that I gathered, obviously creating desire is like important in any sort of marketing of your content or what you have to offer. And then obviously like demolishing objections, getting feedback to understand like what the pain points are, why it is that someone's hesitant and moving forward, and then being able to integrate whatever information that you gather to plug it back in and to take away any sort of kinks. And that's it.
Yeah. The follow-up to end off with that, there's always the worst thing that I find is when I sign up for a list and I know when I'm being like, going through somebody else's nurture sequence and then getting pitched at the end. Like I can see it coming from a mile away now because I've set enough funnels up for people. So what I don't like is when you go through all of that and then they pitch something to you and then you don't buy and then you never hear from them again until their next Black Friday campaign. Like, do not be that person. Always follow up and still provide value. There is so much power in following up, because if you find out why a person didn't buy from you, that's going to change your marketing game for the next round. And it will also let that person know that you're actually thinking of them and you actually care about what they needed at that time. And you can also, there's always that aspect of like downselling something to them in the future that works for better for them, because not everyone is going to be a perfect fit for your one product. That's why having a product suite is really great. I know there's people who've gotten amazing success just by having one product, but again, that's up to you and how you want to build your business. So again, Yasmin, you did a great summary, building know, like, and trust, creating desire, demolishing objections, creating FOMO, and then following up.
That's really important. What you mentioned really stood out to me. It's the fact that that nurturing process is like, it's the entire life cycle, whether they make a decision to want to purchase or not, you still have to continue nurturing them. You still have to be there. You still have to show up for them. That's so important. And I think part of it is, I think some people just get overwhelmed. And I think that's where the automation comes into place and having a plan in advance so that you have like your ABC zone, like A is the purchaser, B is the, maybe, and then C is the one who falls off. But still, you want to be there for all of them. And creating that framework to make sure that you have touch points for every single person.
Exactly. That is the essence of a customer journey. You're guiding them through their journey with you at all of the different touch points, and you're providing something for them at every touch point. So whether there's somebody who has no idea what video marketing is, you've got something for them there. Whether there's somebody who wants to learn more, you've got something for them there. Whether it's somebody who already knows and is ready to outsource it, you've got something for them there as well.
So I have a question, just for those of us who are not, haven't been part of a sales funnel or haven't done one ever. How many nurturing emails are there between the first touch point and then the sales page in your experience?
In my experience, the best converting ones can be anywhere from 5 to 7, because you don't want to, there's so much information that you have to pack in. There's so much nurturing you have to do. You don't want to overwhelm somebody and get them to just continue scrolling through your email. And all of the emails look different. So you're going to have some, because there's like 3 different kinds of people that are in your audience at all times, right? There's the super analytical people that are like reading every single word. They want to know what you're offering and what they're paying for. There's the people that are like emotional and you're touching their like pain points and pleasure points, and they're like, you know what, I don't care how much it costs, like I need this. And then there's like the fun people who are like they just need like something quick and just concise, and it's like, yeah, whatever, like I'm in, it's cool, it's great, I already trust this person, amazing. So you have to have like different emails to cater to your different audiences, and have like, but there's some common elements that you should have throughout your nurture sequence. So what you offer, the transformation is going to provide, and actually, just those 2 things, as long as you have that in every single email, like you're good. And I know people are like, it's sleazy, it's not authentic, but it is, because honestly, when you do something one-on-one, you find that you're having the same conversation with multiple people. So there's nothing sleazy about having the same conversation with as many people, because it is going to be the same conversation whether they're talking to you in person or not. But because you're going to be saying the same thing about what transformation you provide, you're going to be saying the same thing about what courses you have, right? It's not sleazy, guys. Again, like I said, you owe it to them. They need this from you.
So going back to marketing, because I think, again, like the idea of creating content and then sending out DMs and then hashtagging, like to me, that concept is like, that's going to take years to build. It's going to take a really long time to build. Do you have any recommendations for something faster than that, like advertising? Like if somebody did say to you, okay, I'm willing to shell out X, can I just take the easy way out? Can I just advertise?
Yeah, do it, honestly. But that's what I was saying, how if you have like already an audience, for example, if you guys have a podcast, you can drive ads to your listeners, and people like your listeners. So that's the best thing about Facebook ads or Instagram ads and their lookalike audience creation. I'm not sure if Google Ads has the same thing, but yeah, you can definitely do that if you have the money. Like put it in there, because your investment is always going to be less than what you're going to make. Well, actually, if you do it the smart way. I do cover ads in Super Simple Sales Funnels as well. Like I do have a Facebook ads workshop because it's so important to know, kind of like the scaling that you can be doing, right? And people, especially if you have a course already, like it's so great because you can just have the leads coming in automatically. They're getting nurtured automatically and they're signing up for your course automatically, and it's getting dripped to them at their own pace. If you want to add a coaching element to it to drive up value, you could even just have like a once a week Q&A in like a Facebook group, and boom, it's like as if you were doing coaching. Because for any course, I say there's like the 3 C's, right? There's the community, the curriculum, and the coaching. So you have to have those 3 things because that is what provides value. And when you're marketing it, ads is fine. It's not sleazy at all. It's, if you have the money, like, dude, go for it. And in the meantime, just continue providing value. So you don't have to always have those DM conversations. You don't always have to have those one-on-one aspects of things. If you can provide value so you maintain, actually, let me see. There's so many people who don't even show up on like social media. Like the lady in your first podcast interview, like I believe she has her own system it's running, right? It runs on autopilot. It's getting her leads on autopilot, and she focuses on getting her students value. So I think it's up to you how much money you have, how you want to run your business. If you feel like you need to have a social media presence, go for it. If you don't have the time, it's fine.
Mm-hmm. And I think to that point too, there's just something about like having obviously your values and having a consistent voice. So if you get to a point where, let's say, social media is just not your thing. You just, honestly, it's not everybody's thing. And
No.
we keep on getting consumed with this idea that we have to do X, Y, and Z and be present on social and be consistent with it to get there. But like you said, if you have the resources, amazing. Not everybody is there, but if you have the resources, go for it. You can, have your ads. And I think that that's where like virtual assistants also come in and social media managers. I think you just have to be very clear with how you want to show up for your audience, so that when you do hire the right talent and people to be part of your team, that they speak the same language. So
yes,
I think that's another conversation to be had, but I think it's important to note.
Definitely. And also that's why your email list is a gold mine, because nobody wants you in their inbox every single day. So, that's there's certain platforms that already have a certain expectation around them. For social media, people are like, yeah, we want to see you on stories in my feed every single day. For email lists, not so much. So even if you're only popping in for a campaign, that's totally fine, because that's the expectation that was set. For example, your podcast, people expect episodes, and you're delivering that. So whatever the expectation is, as long as you're showing up consistently and delivering on that value and delivering on time, like, your audience is going to grow and they're going to love you either way. Like, it doesn't have to be social media. And ads are amazing because if you have like a nurture sequence already set up, like, it's doing the work for you.
Awesome.
Love it. Oh my God. So much value in this episode. I don't know if you saw, but I was like scribbling notes every now and then. So thank you so much for everything that you've given us. It's been such a pleasure talking to you. But before we sort of, say our goodbyes, we always ask one last question. And if you've listened to the podcast, you know what it is. What's your last wisdom bomb that you can leave our listeners with?
Ooh, okay. So it was actually my Harry Potter reference. I wrote it down, but I was too excited about it. I popped it in way too early. But yes, the framework chooses the funnel, you guys. And also believe in yourself. It may not be that your first course, creates like a big wave in the entire industry. But even if you change the life of one person, that is results. Even if you've changed the life for yourself, that is results. That is transformation. Continue to provide transformation. Do not give up, because don't look at somebody else's journey and where they are at right now. And while you're at the beginning, you can always try to find somebody who's at the beginning with you and do it together. Like, accountability is great.
Love it. I've got
God.
goosebumps.
Me
I don't
too.
know if you do.
I not only do I have goosebumps, but I'm like, I'm ready to launch. Like, I don't know what it is about talking to you. I'm like, I'm ready to launch. Let's go right now. So.
Do it. I will be looking out for your launch, you guys. I'm so excited.
Yay.
So,
thank you so much.
Ayesha, tell our listeners where they can find you.
Okay, so you can find me on Instagram at Behind the Niqab. I will spell that for you. BEHINDTHENIQAB. For now. Oh my gosh, what if I change my username, guys?
That's
We're
okay.
gonna have
We
links
will-
in the show notes. So
We'll update
Find
it.
me on Instagram. That is where you will find every other link to everything. For example, my email list and my upcoming group coaching program as well.
beautiful. We'll make sure that all those links are in the show notes so that people can find you and they can sign up for your group coaching.
Yay!
Because that's going to be incredibly valuable. So
I'm so
Thank
excited.
you so much.
No
Really appreciate you being
problem.
on the show. That was awesome.
Thank you.
was
Can I take a
amazing.
picture?
Yes.
Oh my God,
100%. I'm
We're
going
gonna
to take my
do-
boomerang.
wait,
Okay,
you
okay.
need to do the slate, Yasmin.
Oh, yeah. I'll
Yeah.
do the slate. Yes.
Oh my gosh,
That's-
yes.
Thank you. This is my...
Let me put my mic in the front so I can look super
And I'm gonna
professional. Wait.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Okay.
Which way?
Wait.
When you
That
go
way.
sideways, that's me. What is this?
Yeah,
Sideways.
perfect. Okay, wait. I will do a countdown. Okay.
Which way are you going? Wait, what's
I'm
Nat
trying
doing?
to point. I'm trying to point at Yasmin. Where
Oh,
is
then
you're
it's the
pointing-
other
wait,
way.
wait. Oh no, for
This
me.
way.
Yeah.
For me.
for Ayesha?
Okay, right. For
This
Aisha.
way.
Do it for Aisha, yeah.
Yeah. No, up. Up. Yes, perfect. You got it. Okay, all right. 3, 2, 1. Yay! I got it. I'm so excited. Thank you guys so much.
So good. That's a wrap on another episode of the Course Creation Podcast. Thank you for tuning in and being a champion of ours. If you enjoyed this episode, please hit subscribe and find us on Apple Podcasts to leave us a review. We really want to hear from you. And we're going to be digging through reviews for our next guest to feature. So if you're interested in being a guest, then you know what to do. Also, join our private Facebook community called the Course Creation Crew to connect with other course creators. And don't forget to follow us on Instagram at coursecreation.com. That is all. We appreciate you all so much and look forward to having you here next time.